We're going to make a minimalist pendant today. 2.5 millimeter diameter round wire, 75 millimeters long. Now mark 15 mil and we're going to hammer or run this through the rolling mill until it's 1 millimeter thick. So by rolling this in the mill until it's 1 mil thick, its length has increased to 21.5 millimeters, which is what we want to make our bail. File this end flat. Number 2 cut flat hand file. Brace it against your bench peg. Hallmark the side that's going to be in the back. And I've got these neat little hallmark pliers. Take your flat round pliers and the biggest part of the round part you're going to grab, leaving about 1.5 millimeters sticking out the end, and you're going to roll that into a nice tight bail until it touches the back. Now file the other end flat, make it pretty, and whatever design you want now, it can be zigzag, it can be lightning, it can be a spiral, it can be a square, whatever, bend that. But saying that, use the proper pliers so that you don't put marks, unwanted marks in this. So if you're bending a large circle, use flat half round, small circle, flat round, square corners, use the parallel jaw pliers. Make sure that your bail touches the back of the piece because we don't want it to fall off the chain or cord or whatever we have it on. And we're not going to solder this one. I ordered my wire half hard. You can get it half hard or dead soft, and that means that you can make your whole piece without having to anneal it. If you don't have to anneal it, you won't have fire scale. So I'm going to use just my parallel jaw pliers, and I'm going to put a series of zigzags in this, getting slightly bigger as I go up. So this is my pendant. Now what you have to do is check that gravity isn't going to fight you. So you're going to hang this, and you can see that my bail isn't straight. So now I'm going to just grab the bail, turn it to where I think it'll be straight, put it back, hang it again, and when you get it so it's aesthetically pleasing, stop. Check that you don't have really ugly marks in it where you've bent it. If you do, sand them out and polish it. That part's finished. Now we're going, you could just use this as it is. It's a nice little simple pendant, but we're going to gypsy set a 1.5 millimeter stone in this. So you need to mark the piece where you're going to put your stone. And this is something that you should always do when you drill a hole. You should always put a punch mark where you're going to drill. So you can see that tiny little mark, and that ensures that the drill will stay right there and go straight through. That was an automatic punch that I used. You can use just a hammer and a regular punch. Now we're going to drill a 1 millimeter hole. Hold your pendant drill straight up and down. and I'm just going to drill a little bit at a time, making sure that it's perfect. And we want to go all the way through. Now we're going to take a 1.5 ball burr and run it into this hole. Measure your burr. You just put it in the large part of the jaws and turn it. If you don't turn it, you'll get a smaller size than it actually is. So that's 1.49, which is great. It'll be perfect. Now, you never want to spin your burrs up really fast. So I'm just putting a little bit of beeswax on my burr to lubricate it. And I'll just hold this up so you can see, because we're going to burr this in just to the wide part of the burr. So turn this fairly slow. You don't want it to chatter, you want a nice smooth cut. So you can see, hopefully, that I've just gone into the wide part of the burr on the side of the metal. Don't look at the top of the metal because it'll be going in deeper. We want to look at the side. So now you're ready to set your stone. To put your stone table down on your plate, and the table is the top flat part. Then to measure it, you're going to grab it in the wide part of your jaws, of your calipers. And it's easy to do that if it's laying table down on the table. So this is 149. And then what we're going to do is we're going to push our piece straight down over the stone quite firmly, and it should hold itself in place, which it does, and it should be level with the top of your wire. Now if you look at your stone, it should be the girdle, which is the wide part of the stone, should be below the level of the top part of your wire, and it should actually be slightly below the side if you cut your hole correctly. If it's at that point, then we'll use our burnisher to set it. Now your burnisher is just a piece of polished steel, and look at it really closely and make sure that it doesn't have scratches on it, because if it has scratches on it, it'll transfer those scratches to your metal. Now, if it has scratches on it, go in the polishing room and polish it out with Cabramax. So what we're going to do now is, see if I can get this so you can see, we're just going to drag the burnisher up to the edge of the stone. So you can hear it. Don't drag it all the way across, because the stone is harder than your burnisher. Now I've just gone on the top edge of the wire, and I'll show you. You can see that the edge of the metal has actually pushed down onto the stone. So work your way all the way around. Be sure that the metal is pushed down on the stone all the way around. And if you didn't have scratches in your burnisher, you're finished now. If you did have scratches in your burnisher and you transferred it to the metal, you'll have to polish it. Okay, our stone's set, and you'll notice that There are a few little rub marks, but no scratches, and that'll polish out quite easily. You could just use a polishing cloth if you want, or you can go in on the Tripoli and do the whole thing. And I notice there are a few little scratches in mine that need to be buffed out at this point. So onto the Tripoli, then you would ultrasonic it, and then onto the rouge. And ta-da! Simple little design with a faceted stone. Gypsy set.